one of the things that you will always be judged by is how the other outlets are doing, right? So this is other mainstream media and other online media. So we'll get to online media in a while, but you are uniquely positioned because you know CNA very well, right?
Yeah.
And people always compare Straits Times to CNA, and they say, "Oh, look, CNA is even under the most difficult conditions, you can still produce good journalism." And people say, "Oh, Straits Times is not." Do you think that's a fair criticism?
No. To due respect to my former colleagues at CNA, we did good work there. I think we do good work here as well. It is just done differently, with a different heritage, with a different type of newsroom, and the Straits Times newsroom is also one that's evolving. But in terms of the sheer depth and breadth of our Singapore-related coverage, I think the Straits Times does better. It's just because of the way the newsroom is structured. The CNA digital newsroom is quite different from us. The CNA broadcast newsroom is even more different from us. So I wouldn't compare. And to be honest with you, I am not one who would compare across our competitors in that sense. I believe we all have a space. I think if we did it well enough, there is enough space for a CNA and a ST to push each of us to higher standards. And keep an eye on us, each other, to make sure we both do well in our own respective spaces towards the larger audience.
Is it different audiences, you think? Or?
I don't think so. I mean, from surveys that we can see, there are slightly different audiences, but I would like to believe that there's some overlaps as well. And then one of the things that CNA has the benefit of is people know that it is free. So mindsets have set, but ST people have mindsets that a lot of stuff is behind the paywall, for example. So these perceptions persist, and we will try our best to make sure that at least we can explain why the paywall exists. But I would rather not talk about CNA.
Fair enough. So maybe that question also was too direct in terms of comparing to one. But what about online media, where a lot of people say, "Oh, I cannot trust Straits Times," right? Then they go to online media, but sometimes they go to online versions of Straits Times articles. But there are others, just independent websites, not even traditional journalism.
I'll be honest with you. When I look at what you call competitors and other people in the landscape, I don't automatically see them as competitors. I think with the Singapore ecosystem, as far as the news media is concerned, is small enough that everyone does have a space. Whether you are mainstream, whether you are mothership, whether you're whoever else it is, everyone has its space. And the trick for Singaporeans in general is to know what each one of them does, and to be able to verify, trust to different degrees, check where you need to check. The main competitor in which I am actually more concerned with is a larger competitor, and that's time. All of us still, no matter who we are, whether you're CNA or whether you're Straits Times, our main competitor is time of our audiences. We're competing against far more than anybody used to compete against. And then you need to keep an eye on that. What are people doing? What are people watching? What are people getting entertained by? What are they reading in the name of infotainment, for example, but believing it's news? What are people subscribing to in Netflix or not? Are they pulling back on their subscriptions? What does it mean for us? So there's a far larger dynamic that we have to keep an eye on in terms of competition for time. Right. And that is something which I'm very mindful of.